Hello and welcome. Today I'm joined by Thibault Bourdin, the Chief Transformation Officer at Heineken Europe. Thank you so much for joining, Thibault.
Thank you for having me, Christian.
Thibault, can you briefly describe the supply chain transformation at Heineken Europe?
Yeah, so Europe is a big region for Heineken. It's 25 operating companies. We worked on 4 key areas. The first one is around the complexity of our product and our packaging, so trying to simplify this complexity. The second one is about leveraging our network in the 25 operating companies. The third one is where it's relevant to improve and harmonize our way of working. The fourth one is to design a low carbon footprint in Europe.
What were the first results that you have achieved?
Yeah, so it's quite amazing because even the first year of our transformation, we already had some significant results. So in platforming, for instance, we reduced by 52% our unique bottles, also reduced by 50% our secondary packaging. If we look at our functional excellence, we went from 25 S&OP tools and teams into only one. And now in Europe we have one S&OP team and one S&OP tools. And we also have a carbon ambition. And here compared to 2018, we already reduced our carbon emission in production by 24%.
As the CTO, you lead the Transformation Management Office, the TMO. How important is the CTO and the TMO for the success of this transformation?
This is absolutely critical because while you drive a transformation, you have also at the same time to drive your day-to-day business. So if you don't have an engine that helps you to drive this transformation, while the rest of the organization is also focusing on the day-to-day business, it's quite a challenge to run it.
The human and people element, so the change management that you mentioned, is critical for the success of such a transformation. Can you explain how the TMO orchestrated around that element?
People are really at the core of our transformation because we really care about people in Heineken. We cannot run a transformation without really focusing on our people. So what we decided to do is to shape our change management part of this transformation around 3 components. The first one is leadership, because everything starts with us as leaders, how we run transformation, how we are able to engage the organization around what has to be done. The second element is around capabilities, and so the competencies of our people. And here it's about filling the gap between where they are today and where they should be tomorrow. And the last one is about communication, because of course, in such a big transformation happening in a lot of different operating companies, you have to make sure that you have at the same time a very concrete why, at the regional level, but also at the operating company level, but also a clear what and a clear how, tailored to the local reality. And this communication always evolves. So you always have to find exactly the right way to communicate the messages and also to hear the feedback to make sure that you're always aligned with the people. So these are the 3 components: leadership, capabilities, and communication.
You mentioned change management as a crucial element of this transformation. How have you addressed this issue?
Yeah, so we worked around a model that is quite efficient, I have to say, around head, heart, and hands. Because when you have to deal with a big transformation, you have to talk to head. So why are we doing this transformation? What is the case for change? You have to talk to the hearts of the people, so they are engaged also in the transformation. And the hands, because you also have to understand concretely what's in it for you. So how can you contribute on your day-to-day basis to this transformation?
For you as a seasoned CTO, how would you summarize the key success factors of your role?
I will maybe highlight 3 elements. The first one is enthusiasm and can-do mindset. It's super important when you run a transformation. The second one is humility. You have to be extremely humble just to be able to listen the feedback from the organization, to adapt also your governance and to make sure that what you're doing is also perfectly aligned with the needs. And the third element is about discipline and structure. So this is about making sure that you have the right drumbeat and that also that your team and the organization is working in a disciplined way.
These are great learnings, Thibault. Can you share 1 or 2 concrete examples?
Yeah, let me share an example linked to what I just said. We have a very structured governance, as you can imagine, at the regional level with all our stakeholders and with the operating companies. But this governance sometimes has to be adapted. And last year, over the summer, we were maybe not aligned with exactly the needs of the organization, but also looking forward what would come and the biggest risk for 2023, actually. The feedback also from the organization was, are you not too much process-driven or isn't it too bureaucratic? And so it was a bit hard to hear, but at the same time, it was exactly the good feedback. So we decided immediately with a bit of humility to say, okay, maybe it's not good, maybe we have to adapt our governance and to make it much more aligned with what is needed, but also focused on the coming risk for 2023.
Ultimately, what will be the legacy of this transformation?
The first one is having a future-proof and sustainable supply chain. And the second one that is even more important is to build this transformation capability within Heineken. So today we're training this muscle, but at the end of the day, what we want to achieve is to have this capability able to drive transformation for Heineken in the future.
Thibaut, thank you so much for being with us today and sharing your insights.
Thank you, Christian. It was a pleasure.